Think about this. Two founders with the same goal. They both want to hire in January. One spent their fall setting up, being methodical about what they want to do, who they want to hire, what role they're filling, and one waited. So come January, one was onboarding a dream hire while the other one was absolutely drowning in admin and paperwork trying to figure out how they can bring an employee on. So what the first one did, what did they actually do in the fall? Let's talk about this. So, a lot of times I hear from people like, we don't have any employees, or, I can just have contractors. And my challenge to you is you can't grow a business with only a team of contractors. And that's why it's really important to have employees. Not just that some of your contractors may be misclassified, but you really need employees so you can train and mold and help grow and build your business on your terms, on your time, on your hours, using your equipment and your tools. Okay. So number one, if you want to grow your business, you absolutely need an employee. But what does that mean, right? Like when you have a contractor working with you, you guys sign a mutual agreement. It's a defined period of time. It's a defined amount of pay. You get a W-9 from them. You provide them a 1099 at the end of the year, and you are good to go, right? But when you have an employee, there's a lot more prep work that needs to be done. And the first thing that you need to do is really figure out what role you're hiring for. And honestly, this could be whether you're hiring your first employee or, your 1,000th employee. Don't hire out of just, what you think you need or a vibe or desperation. I always say that. But you really need to decide on what job needs to be filled. And that could look like you creating like a brain dump of everything you do during the day, or everything that you'd want to happen during the day that you're not able to do, don't have time to do, or don't know how to do. And from that list, you could really get a sense of what you're looking for. Are you looking for an admin, someone to take over the day-to-day admin work, be in your inbox, do your scheduling, respond to clients? Or perhaps you're looking for someone to do your marketing for you. Maybe that is a full-time person. If you have a product-based business, maybe you really need someone full-time on board to help you with that. Or maybe it's, a sales role, someone that's reaching out to clients constantly and managing those relationships. Another thing that could happen is you need a specialty because, let's say you're a founder and you're building something that's got tech involved and you're not a tech person, you're an ideas kind of gal. So maybe that person is a developer. That's your first hire. The other thing to think about too is it doesn't have to be a full-time person. When people think of employees, they can absolutely start off with a part-time employee or even a few part-time employees. I've seen this happen in so many different industries where, the business owner has 4 employees and they're all part-time and it works great for everybody. Everybody is classified correctly and running compliantly. So there are a lot of things you can do with this, right? But the first step is figuring out what is the role that needs to be filled. I see a lot where people find a person, right, that they really connect with. They really like their energy. They really like what they have to say. And they build the role around that person. I would strongly advise against that. You want to see what your business needs, not what another person needs, okay? So really take some time to think about that. From there, you should have the bones of a job description, right? So you've brain dumped, you've decided like the categories of all the tasks that need to be done. And now you can put that into a really solid job description. Don't forget when you're putting a job description out there, make sure you include a little bit about your company. Love to do like a mission, vision, value so that people know what type of business you are. The roles and responsibilities of this job, the qualifications required. Think about requirements and nice to haves and differentiate between the two. Does everybody need to have a 4-year college degree? Probably not. Think about that for your business. What do you need from someone? And also make sure you're putting in things that make your business unique. And stay compliant. If you have pay transparency laws in your state, then you may need to put the salary range in the job description. I would encourage anyone, whether you do or don't have pay transparency laws in your state, to throw that salary range in there anyway, so that you're just upfront in the process about what the range is. And, based on experience, someone will land within that range. It also helps sometimes with the interview process. You'll have people seeing that range, understanding that's the pay, and applying if they're aligned with it. Now, sometimes I see people ignore that, and it's a waste of everybody's time, but that's okay. This really is more helpful than not. So you have your job description, right? You have it out there, and then you have to interview people. Make sure you are doing the same interview with each person, asking the same questions so that you can fairly evaluate your candidates. If you go off on a tangent, that's fine, but also make sure you're staying compliant and not asking people questions that could be considered discriminatory in any way. So, I know that I've been asked in the past in interviews, oh, are you married? Can't do that. Also, do you have kids? Do you plan on having kids? I know all these things just sound, sometimes from the right people, could be friendly, right? And innocent, but do not ask questions about their personal lives, about their ethnicity, about their sexuality. A lot of states have banned the box where you can't ask about criminal history. So really make sure you're sticking to experience, the job, how they would handle certain situations, and stay away from those personal things, right? If somebody is really good at what they do and you decide to hire them, then you'll get to know them. And all those questions will be answered in your own time, right? The next step is, you really need to start getting some process and programs in place and policies in place for when you're ready to make that hire, right? So you're going through the interview process, but simultaneously, you should be evaluating different payroll systems or HRIS systems so that you will be able to pay this person when they start. And these things take a little bit of setup. So, if you're starting from scratch, it does take less time. If you have to do any sort of like payroll transfer or, information transfer, sometimes it takes a little longer. I say give yourself 2 months to really get the setup going. But you can build out these systems to do so much and not only just pay your employees. So I love using them as, the place where you store all the employee information. It's secure, it's compliant, they're meant to do these things. You can build out your onboarding flows through there, track their time off, accrue their sick time through there. I hope you catch my drift that these systems do a lot of the laborious manual stuff for you. So while you're going through the interview process, you need to be setting up a payroll system and building out your employee handbook, because when you have somebody start, you want them to be able to go through the onboarding flow in your payroll system and sign all the necessary paperwork in there, which leads me to templates. So you need an offer letter template. It's absolutely a must-have. Some states require certain things to be in that offer letter. States like New York require a wage notice that's given on top of that. You also need to be providing mandatory notices that are mandatory in the state or city where you're located or where the person's working out of. And then, it's really helpful to have your employee handbook ready at that time so that the person coming on board understands the policies, the procedures, how your business operates. They have a place to go to for questions, and you're not just making it up on the fly. So this is why it's really important to have this in place as soon as you hire an employee. Another thing you need to do is make sure you have a workers' comp, and then that you are signed up for any state programs that are mandatory where you're located, or where your business is located, where your employees are located. So I'm in New Jersey. If I have an employee that lives in New Jersey, I'll have to have them set up with their New Jersey disability through the state, their paid family leave through the state. And these are all things in New Jersey that are state run and state operated. Also, if you have a certain amount of employees, you'll need to sign up for Retire Ready. which is the state run 401k option, retirement savings option. But that's just in New Jersey. In other states, they have their own version of those things. In New York, you need a third party insurer to run your short-term disability, to run your family leave. And so that's something you'd have to sign up for through possibly your workers' comp provider or any other insurance provider. So there's a lot of stuff that you need to do before hiring someone. And I'm not here to tell you that, I'm not here to make you feel overwhelmed or nervous. I'm here to educate and help you. And, I also do a 3-month project with small businesses that handle all of these things in a 3-month time period. We evaluate which payroll system is best for you. I project manage that to make sure that everything is set up correctly, that your workflows are on point, provide you with all the templates you need, create that employee handbook for you that's unique to your business and where you and your people are located, and also provide you with all of the education you need for having an employee, right? Because going from a business owner to now a leader is a huge step, and it's a new role for you. You might not have done it before. And so it's okay not to know all of these things, right? That's why I'm here. That's my job. I want to make sure that when you say, hey, I want to hire in 2027, that you are ready to do that. And you need all of these things to do that, right? You want to hire right. You want to hire once. You don't want to hire frazzled and buried under admin or paperwork or decision making, right? So make sure that you set yourself up for success by getting these things in place in the fall. The most successful businesses that I've worked with have given themselves 3 months in advance from when they want to hire to really set themselves up for success. So now's the time, right? Like, we're in the end of August. And so you might want to start this, come mid to end September so that you're ready for January. You're ready for 2027. You can relax during the holidays and spend time with your friends, your family, your loved ones, or even by yourself, because you can do whatever you want. You're a free, independent person, right? I highly encourage, though, anyone looking to hire, especially if they're in first employee, to reach out to me. These 3-month startup projects are some of my favorites, where you really get to help mold and design someone's culture and their business and what they stand for. And so I'd love to work with you if you're looking to hire in 2027.